What's up, everybody? Welcome to the First Strike Team Abroad podcast, where I'm going to be interviewing other ALTs out here in Japan. I want to give a quick shout out to Irfaan, who gave us a bunch of questions that really formulated the podcast you guys are about to watch right now. I also want to give you a little bit of a warning. This is my first time using this new podcast software. There was a little bit of a sound issue and a little bit of a connection issue with me and Elizabeth. So the sound is not great. I did my best to edit around it, but it wasn't fully possible. So I hope you guys still enjoy and get a lot of positive information from the podcast. If you have any questions that weren't clear enough, please let me know in the comments and message me, and I will reach out to you and answer your questions. All right, guys, enjoy the podcast. Peace. Everyone, welcome to the first interview with the ALTs out here in Japan. We have the very famous, these are the guys I've been doing most of my videos with. We have Bryce, who's on here as Grizzly Bear. So we have Ryan, also known as the man with the best fashion sense in all of Japan. And we have Elizabeth, who pretends to be French. Okay, so let's start off. We had a couple questions come in from viewers on YouTube. I have them listed out. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to pull these guys up. And so what we're going to do, actually first, let me explain where I'm from. I am out here in Okinawa. I live in the north part of Okinawa, this area called Motobu. It's a small town, and I am living out here, loving it. I love this area, and I am teaching high school, 3 high schools. What about you, Bryce?
Hey, my name is Bryce. I live in Gunma Prefecture in a small town called Naganohara. And I teach kindergarten, elementary, and junior high. Junior high is my base school, and then I have 4 other schools that I go to. So,
all right, Ryan.
So my name is Ryan. I'm coming to you from the land of sunshine, Okayama Prefecture. I live right here in the city, and I teach at 4 high schools, in the local area.
Good, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, are you there? Oh, did she freak out?
Wakey, wakey, Elizabeth.
Okay, so let's go over some of the questions that were sent to us. One of the main questions I wanted to go over. Well, actually, let me just ask you guys, how's your general experience been? Because like I said, I love it. I love my kids. I love the location I'm in. How has your general experience been in Japan?
well, for me, it's been really good. I love Japan. I love kind of traveling and seeing new places. There have been some difficult aspects. I live in a really small town, so it's been hard to kind of people and have a social life. But other than that, I have really enjoyed it, and I'm interested to see more of Japan.
What about you, Ryan? We officially have lost Elizabeth. Jesus. Oh.
Oh man, yeah, she just dropped off the face again. Well, yeah, Japan, living the dream, man. I mean, life's really good. Every day is like a great day. I mean, wow, that sounds like something out of a TV show. Wow, what are the words? I mean, working at schools, right? I didn't study to be a teacher. I was good at English, but I didn't study English as a major in university. So the challenging part for me is figuring out what to do. But as the years went by, and it's like, okay, well, now I kind of know how to communicate in a way that the students understand a lot more. And recently, especially with the new year, it feels like everything's just starting to open up and stuff like that. Students are being more expressive. From the beginning, and especially now, I mean, yeah, I absolutely adore my kids. They are definitely the greatest part of this job, just interacting with all the students and stuff like that.
Okay.
Life in Japan, pretty good though. Yeah, no complaints at all.
Yeah, good. Same.
same situation here. Elizabeth, you're back. Hello there.
You are sideways.
Yeah, you're sideways, but you exist. Do you want to tell us about your time in Kyoto? She's very glitchy. Oh no. Oh no. What is happening?
He freezes in the funniest ways possible too.
Okay. Well, until she comes back, let's get to some of these questions. I know a lot of the incoming Jets are ALTs. Just got their placements. I know on my YouTube they've been telling me what their placements are. A lot of people are very excited. So let's kind of go through of the questions on this list. Let's go through ones that are really based on like getting set up and started first. I feel like that's what everyone's going to be the most interested in. And one that was sent to me, and she's back.
Hey, she's back.
Wait, I
Again.
think I solved the problem. Do you hear me normally? Is there an
Yes.
echo?
Yeah, you're a
Yes.
lot less glitchy too.
Yeah.
Click the wrong button that says I want to use headphones instead of I don't want to use headphones.
Ah. All right.
Okay, it works on my computer, not my phone. Thank God.
Tell us
That's
about about your
Kyoto?
teaching experience. Just like a little bit, like a little rough draft of like what you have enjoyed.
What I do, I work in 4 schools, 3 elementary schools and 1 junior high school. And in junior high school, I assist in the classroom with a English specialist teacher, but in elementary school, I'm more or less left to my own. And yeah, it's there's the homeroom teacher in their classroom with me, but what I do is what I want, or sometimes they suggest what I do, or other times they're like, teach them English, 45 minutes, go. But of course they don't say it in English because no one speaks English. So.
It's like that for me too. I have half my teachers I'm like helping, and the other half I like run the whole class. So
Yeah. I actually prefer the run your whole class method because in the junior high school classes, sometimes there's some teachers that use me a lot. Others have a difficulty communicating with me, or telling me what they want. So they just have me standing there and passing out papers, and I feel a little useless.
Okay.
So I prefer elementary school. I also just prefer that age group in general over teenagers.
Gotcha.
So. Yeah.
All right. Well, what we were saying is while we will get deeper into like our experience in the program itself, a lot of the incoming Jets just got their like location. They've all been telling me on YouTube they like just figured out where they're going to be placed, and I feel like a lot of them are interested in like very practical setup things. So this guy Irfaan, who follows me on YouTube, very very helpful, sent me a buttload of questions, and I'm gonna really let's focus on the ones that are like about establishing yourself first, and then see how long that takes us. One was this: is like the phone plan when you came over. I know what I ended up doing, and I actually already talked about it in a YouTube video. What did you guys do with your phone plan when you came over here? Like, who are you guys with? Do you like your phone plan?
Well, when I came here, I beforehand ordered a SIM card. And it was gonna last me a month, so I ordered one for the first month, and I think that's really important to do because I think I know a lot of people who had troubles getting set up with a phone plan in the first month. So if you can get a SIM card for that lasts the whole month, that will kind of cover that danger zone. But then I ended up finding this really nice plan that has like 100 gigs of data for like 4,000 yen a month.
What plan are you on? What plan is that?
It's like a Docomo. It's like a Docomo.
Oh, that's what I. It's you're talking about Ahamo probably. for about $40. It's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But that took a while to get set up. Like I was working with Board of Education to like get that set up for like a month. So like having that SIM card really helped that first month.
That is
So yeah.
that is smart, because in my YouTube video, my advice was them to reach out to Sakura Mobile, and
Mm,
it like actually comes to the hotel that we do our orientation in, and we'll give you a SIM card. But Sakura Mobile, I think you're stuck with for 3 months minimum, which is what I ended up going with first. And their gigabytes are really small for somebody who uses as much internet as me. So if I could have just like done a month plan, if I had known about that, that would have been
Yeah.
way better advice. So
I didn't do mobile. I did another one. I don't remember what it was, but
okay.
unfortunately, sorry.
And remember, let's figure that, and I'll put it in the comments or a link for it below, because that is like a really common question, and I that would have been super helpful if I had known that.
I can easily find that.
Okay, cool. What about you, Ryan? What do you guys use?
So I'm with mobile. So for ALTs, especially the ones that are coming to Japan, the two names that are often mentioned is Sakura Mobile and Mobile, Mobal. When we were at the hotel, I believe it was Sakura that was on the top floor, but I've heard it tends to go back and forth between Sakura and Mobile. When I got to my placement here in Okayama, originally my teachers were trying to help me with, getting put on, I think, a Rakuten plan, but the really antiquated Japanese kind of systems and stuff made it pretty freaking hard to do that. So in the end, after a lot of back and forth that day, going between literally Rakuten and the bank, um, we just kicked the bucket that day, and next few days I just decided to go with mobile. I don't remember what my plan is right now, but I definitely have a decent amount of gigabytes, and I even have a pocket Wi-Fi, because one school I don't have a computer that they give me, so I need to use my own computer, and that can't connect to the school Wi-Fi, so I need to use a portable pocket Wi-Fi device at that school. The numbers are not accurate because I'm really going off the top of my head, but I feel like I'm pretty sure I did like 128 gigs or megabytes or something. I don't remember. I'm not good with technology for phone data, and then I have this Wi-Fi router too. So I think for combined, I think it's like 7,000 yen a month. I don't recall. The numbers may be either much higher or much lower than they actually are in real life. I just can't recall.
Okay. So that's you get a whole extra router. It's about $30 more. So there's an
Pretty much.
option. Okay.
Mhm.
Elizabeth, I know you have to live off your Wi-Fi, right? Off your phone, right? And I can't. And she's gone. Are
Oh.
you kidding me? Are you fucking? Oh my
It was
god!
fine for all of it up until right there, and then bam.
Disappeared. Uh, I've stayed at Elizabeth's house. You guys will see in a little bit. I'm gonna put my travels, and my girlfriend came out. We stayed at Elizabeth's for a bit. And I know she uses her phone for all of her internet. She doesn't have Wi-Fi in her actual house. Might be part of the problem by why she can't stay on this call right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, that's another point of like that's another point to mention the newcomers, right? Like, the saying that every situation is different. Like, I didn't have to worry about Wi-Fi when I got here.
Yeah.
And at my home, I don't need to worry about Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same. Like I was really lucky because I live in an apartment above this business, and the business owns the apartment, so they literally have like a router in the business that they let me use for my Wi-Fi.
Oh wow, that's
I got free Wi-Fi with my apartment.
Same thing here, like my apartment, and well, this apartment complex, like this building here, we all have free Wi-Fi from day one, and there's a router in my apartment. so my Wi-Fi is my Wi-Fi.
Okay, let's talk about that because you guys just moved into like where you all live. I do not like. I was lucky. My apartment is owned by the prefecture, so it's teacher housing, subsidized, extremely cheap. I pay in U.S. dollars the equivalent of like $115 a month. Yeah, super super cheap. Very
Yeah.
Yep.
also pretty big. Oh, look who it is. She's
Speaking of Wi-Fi, right?
Because what is the internet?
No, different room.
But it only cost me $29, 29,000 yen a month.
Wait,
So 2,900. Sorry,
29.
2,900.
That's
2,900
290.
yen a month.
wait,
So I'm fine. I don't believe in Wi-Fi.
wait. How many gigabytes on your phone? How many
Huh?
gigabytes on your phone?
Unlimited.
What? What do you
You
have?
got unlimited?
I have unlimited. Yeah, and
Mobile
actually,
actually says that too. Actually,
I have
like
Rakuten, which I do not recommend. Actually, no, they did just increase their coverage from like 98.2% to like 99% of
Yeah.
Japan. I did get rejected from them 3 times before I actually was able to get it.
How do you
So
get rejected by a phone company?
exactly, I don't know. In France, all I had to do was go to a vending machine and they spit out a SIM card for me. So that's what I was expecting Japan to be like, and it was the
no,
hardest thing for me to do. It was easier to open a bank, easier to furnish an apartment, easier to, I don't know.
No,
I will say like joining Rakuten was quite hard. Like that's what we attempted to do.
Yeah, they just don't, because their thing is they only speak Japanese. Their app is in Japanese, their bills are in Japanese, or they
I
say
mean,
that. But then I went to the flagship store and they showed me like a Welcome to Rakuten video in English.
that sounds like big
So
city
they're just not willing
privileges.
to show you that unless you're like, no, I want this phone plan. They kept trying to send me to like Y Mobile. They're like, no, go to that one. That one speaks English. And I was like, no, I want unlimited. And then they were checking my passport to make sure I had a right to live here. They were just making every excuse to not give me the phone plan.
yeah.
They're like, oh, you're not going to live here long enough. We're not going to sign you on. I was like, that's not any reason. You can't turn me away for that.
My plan was all set up online, like it was an all online thing. So it took a while to get that set up, but then also it took a while to like get in, and it was all in Japanese, so it was
Yeah.
kind of a hassle.
There was
But
definitely some back and forth for Rakuten. Like we went to Rakuten and they needed. Well, so when it came to actually signing on to Rakuten, one, they wanted me to download the app, and me having an American phone, it wasn't saying, "Oh, this app is not available in your country."
Right.
And
They
so,
tried to tell me it wasn't working on my phone.
yeah, and I couldn't download the app. And then they're like, "Okay, now we need your credit card, so we can put it on file." And so I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I give them my Bank of America card, and for some reason, system is not taking it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, that was like the biggest thing. You couldn't use an American card.
Yeah, and so like, oh, maybe you need a bank account in Japan. I was like, okay. So we left. We went all the way to the bank, and then I sat there for another hour talking it out with the bank person, with my supervisor. And then eventually we establish a bank account, and then we go back. And then, okay, so we got a bank account. And then it came down to, okay, now we just got to put the name on the bank account into Rakuten, and then we'll be set. But the system doesn't take English letters, and the
It
bank
doesn't, and then you need
insisted.
like a 4-digit code from
Yeah,
the bank, but the
the
bank
bank
can't give that to you for
insisted.
like 2 weeks.
The bank insisted you need to write your name exactly as it appears in your passport, which means English letters. So when I went to Rakuten, so this is what the bank told me to write it in. Oh, but we can't take that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing with
Look,
a lot
No.
of things in Japan is just the
Bad
bureaucracy
decision.
and like
No.
the amount of weird red tape they have.
Yeah, I mean, they just have all these systems that don't necessarily line up with each other well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys were talking about, we just had this whole conversation and how to not expect Japan to be as smooth as you may think it is. because a lot of the ideas I think we have coming from the West about Japan being this super smooth, technologically easy place to like get everything done is not true. It's pretty analog and actually kind of behind technologically in most ways. Um, so actually, since we were going to go into the housing, but yeah, let's cover housing first, and then we'll go over like the bank stuff because I think both of those might kind of connect to that. Um, let's actually do the bank one first because I think that'll connect more to like the issue. I had issues at the bank too. When I first went in, they refused to give me a debit card. I still don't have a debit card. I only have a cash card, which you can only use at ATM. And
Yeah.
Sounds about
their
right.
reasoning for me not having a debit card was because I didn't speak English, Japanese, and they didn't have a Japanese person working in that department. And it was a small like bank for just Okinawa. So I have this cash card. They won't give me the debit card, and it took them like 2 with like America, in any language you want to set up a bank account, it's way faster than that.
Yeah.
So, like, just be aware that those are issues. Also, because of the language barrier, I got denied from multiple car insurance. Uh,
Yeah.
speaking, and if you're coming from a lot of the Western worlds, like, you could sue a company for that in America. Like, you can't do that. But here, they can totally discriminate based. Pretty much anything, but for here it's mostly if you don't speak Japanese, there is some difficulty getting things done that way.
Yep. Yeah. When I went to set up my bank account, it was a bit of a hassle, but we did it like a local bank, and it took a long time to like get the paperwork all finished. I remember I had to like we had gotten through the application quite a ways, and then they had me write my name. And so I just wrote my name, my first, middle, last, and then they're like, "Oh, no, your last name has to be first. Like you have to put your family name first." So then I was like, "Okay." So I put my family name first, and I was like, and they were like, "No, okay." So like they had to like throw out the first application, and then they were like, "Oh no, sorry, they all have to be capital letters."
Oh,
So
Yes.
we had to throw out the second application.
Yep.
And then I had to fill in my last name, first name, middle name, all capital, and like it took several tries to like get this application done just because I had my name in the wrong order and like with the wrong letters. Like,
that, right. I was asking, did you have any issues uh, setting up the bank because you speak pretty good Japanese?
Oh man, my speaking skills will fail me when it comes to like that technical and that official stuff. Like the bank and the Rakuten trip, that was the same day, and I did not understand a word. Like that day was basically, as I describe it, that was me just getting carted around by my supervisor like a doll. Like show up, just like sits me down next to it, and I just sit there like this while they do all the talking, and I'm like, I have no idea what they are saying right now. Like basically they talk for like 10, 15, 30 minutes straight, and then here comes some papers and then more explanation. And then, oh, do you have your Hanko stamp? I was like, yes, okay, cool. Where do you want me to stamp this thing? Right here. Okay, cool. And then more conversation with them. I'm like, yep, I could be signing my life away and I don't know it.
Really?
But I didn't have any issues. There was definitely some kind of like group like cooperation needed trying to figure out the US tax forms. I'm like, oh, I didn't think I'm going to be looking at a 1099 here. Okay. Oh, write your name exactly as it is in the passport. Okay, here comes the all capital letters again. Yeah,
Definitely.
but no issues. I don't have a debit card. I have a cash card. That sucks. But Yeah, no issue setting it up. That was like a 1 day ordeal.
Elizabeth, you're smiling.
I do have a debit
Go for it.
card.
Of course you do.
But I had to apply for it on my own. My bank was set up with the Board of Education. There were 3 of us that arrived in Kyoto the same day, and they just had us all sitting in the lobby of the bank, and they were in the back of the bank setting up the accounts for us. They took our passports, they took our hankos, they did it all for us. We were just sitting in the lobby, like, talking about our trip. Basically, that was it.
They didn't even
And
put you
then
next to them. They just dropped you in the lobby.
no, they just did everything for us, which I appreciate. Because I wasn't even going to understand, like, sitting next to them anyway. But we got the cash card, like, 2 weeks later in the mail. And I was like, this is the most annoying, useless card that ever existed.
The worst.
And some other ALTs had said that that I have JP Post, so the mail company, as a bank, and they said that they had just rolled out a debit card as of COVID time because cashless payments were starting to be a norm in Japan. But the application was all online, all in Japanese. But I did it just through the browser, translating as you go somehow, and I got the debit card. A lot of people I know have tried to do this application and been denied because you need the phone number that you set up your bank with. But we didn't know what that number was because a lot of us didn't have phone numbers at the time, and it was the Board of Education's number. You had to go into your account later and change that number, but you can do it from an ATM, but not the English button on the ATM, only the Japanese button on the
Yes.
ATM.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, so, but I have a debit card, and yep, except, yeah, no, it works. It works.
Wow.
It works. It's great.
That's
It doesn't work on Uber Eats, though.
that's really, yeah. I think a lot of the banking stuff is really difficult. Like if you want to transfer money back home, like overseas, it takes a lot of work. Like it's just a
Yeah,
big
I
process.
haven't ever tried that,
Yeah.
but I have friends that have used TransferWise to transfer money. And apparently you can do it
I use
also at an
Wise.
ATM.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
use Wise.
Yeah.
You have to use the
And-
ATM and Wise. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
plan the transfer on Wise, but because
Mhm.
you can't like hook Japanese banks up to like PayPal or Wise or anything like that. Like they just don't hook up to those apps.
Yeah.
Like you have to use Wise. You have to plan a transfer to your U.S. account, and then you have to go to an ATM, and then transfer to the Wise bank, which is like a Japanese
Yeah.
bank. Like have a Japanese bank
Yeah,
they
yeah.
transfer money to. So like and the transfer at the ATM has to be all in Japanese. Like they don't have an English
Yeah.
option.
It doesn't give you the English option.
So you have to like know which buttons you're gonna push beforehand. It's kind of it's a hassle.
I have
The first time is definitely like the scary time because you're like, oh my god, what if I send this money to like some random account,
Yeah.
some gigantic chunk of money? That's never happened. the more you do it, the easier it gets. Like now it's like I don't need to worry about taking forever while a guy's waiting behind me to use the ATM. Like you just go to the ATM, do it real quickly, and you're done.
Yeah.
the first time I had my supervisor do it, and I recorded it so I could see which button to press for the next time.
Oh
But
yeah.
I also found that there is a card that you can print. That's a Wise card. So like when you transfer. All right, can you guys hear? Oh, you can hear me. It's working now.
Yes.
All right, let me try and
Yes.
say it
Oh, yeah.
here so it's easier. All right, so this card allows you to quickly populate all the information for your Wise account. So when you put it in, it will automatically do all of the like difficult stuff you have to be doing in Japanese, and then all you have to do is type in the amount of money you want to send. It makes it a lot easier. So, and after you do it the first time, that's one of the options. It says like receipt plus card. and you hit that one, and it sends out your little card, and you just put it in every time, and it becomes really easy.
No.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if you didn't need another for that?
It would be awesome. It would be awesome. Or if you could like do it online. I tried to get the debit card online, by the way, too, and it denied me because it says it knew I didn't speak Japanese. So yeah.
How did it know if it's
I
not
feel like it
informed?
must have clicked something on the application or something. Like they knew. Oh,
Like, I don't speak
I mean,
Japanese.
I
Sorry.
pulled them and I have absolutely no Japanese, so
you're different banks. Different banks.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Now that we've gone over the horror that can be the bank setup, your supervisor will be walking you through all of that.
Yeah.
So don't be too afraid by what we're saying. But what was your housing situations like?
Well, my situation was pretty easy. I just inherited the apartment from my predecessor. And it's a nice apartment. Actually, I got really lucky because it has a dryer. It has a washer and a dryer.
Wow.
Which, like, almost no apartments in Japan have a dryer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I feel like I
just the washer.
that. And they refurbished the apartment like a few years ago, so it's brand new, really nice. I feel like I got really lucky with my apartment.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. Ryan?
Yeah, so similarly, I just inherited this apartment. So for what it is, it's quite large. The ALTs in the local area, they all generally say like, especially the ones that knew my predecessor and have been here before, like, yeah, you have one of the larger apartments. I do not feel cramped at all. It's very spacious, especially for a single person. My predecessor lived here with his wife,
Oh.
and he said it was fine even in that case. Um, I inherited a lot of furniture. I have a couch. I have a bed. Uh, there's an air conditioner. There's a lot of other things that I just inherited. So no issues moving in. It was very easy. I have a washing machine. I don't have a dryer, but beyond that, no, everything was very easy to move into.
Same. No dryer, but I have a washing machine. My house is owned by the prefecture, so it's very much subsidized. I only pay like $115 American a month, which I think is like 14,000 or something. Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
What?
Oh yeah, the subsidy. Yeah.
So why don't you come to the mainland more if you're so rich?
because I came to Japan with credit card debt. Oh, so I'm not that rich.
Yeah, the rent. Yeah, I forgot to mention that it's supposed to be like 60,000 yen a month, but half of that is subsidized, so it's like 30,000 yen, which in my head is just roughly $300 a month, but in reality,
like,
well, in yen, yeah, that's like $300 a month, but in dollars, that's like, I don't know, 250 a month.
dude, that's
Yeah,
really good.
I'm paying between like 50 to 60,000. Yeah. It depends. It depends on like how much I use the AC or the heater in summer and winter. So.
Oh, you're including utilities.
Yeah, you're including utilities.
Yeah, my bill is all together. So.
Oh. Again, everything depends on your situation. Elizabeth,
Yeah.
can you guys see Elizabeth? Because I can't. I can see her.
I can
see her.
I can see Elizabeth.
Oh, I can see her in the producer video, but I can't on my phone. It's having weird shit. Elizabeth, tell us about your place.
I got an unfurnished brand new apartment, which was a lot to come into. I spent my first few nights on the floor. Literally on the floor.
Hey, it's
no
good
furniture.
for your back.
Yeah, sure. Not anything. They did provide me with appliances, so I had a refrigerator and a stove and an AC unit and bathtub and...
Well, I hope it have a bathtub.
Lights.
I hope it had an air conditioning unit.
No, bathtub. I had to pay extra to get those already set up in the apartment, like the lights and stuff. but I mean, I had no other option. I didn't know how to do any of those things on my own. So,
Interesting.
so they're essentially leased to me with the apartment, the refrigerator and appliances.
Did you have to
Um,
find your apartment on your own?
no, they found the apartment. A lot of ALTs live in this complex.
Oh, okay.
That building.
Yeah, but it's an interesting complex. It's essentially public housing in Kyoto. So there are a lot of foreigners here because you're allowed to rent without a cosigner.
Interesting. I did not know that.
That building.
Not necessarily young people.
I got there and like
There's some characters in the buildings.
That makes it great.
Your apartment seemed really nice when I was there.
It is, but I don't have a door code. Anyone can walk in the building.
But it's also Japan.
The bathroom window leads to a shared hallway.
That's true.
It's a little bizarre. But I like it. It's the most spacious apartment I've ever lived in my whole life.
That's the opposite of
I'm coming from Paris and San Francisco, so shoeboxes. But it was a struggle. I didn't have furniture for months. I bought a mattress and that was it. I still only have a mattress on the floor in my bedroom. But furniture I've come into. I didn't purchase anything because I didn't want anything to tie me to the apartment. And I know how hard it is to leave somewhere and have to get rid of stuff. So I didn't want to buy anything or invest anything. But I did have to buy like full kitchen culinary stuff, which was annoying, but I had to. Thank God for Daiso.
Yeah, Daiso.
Daiso.
Yes, I would have. But all my furniture is from people that have moved out or the street.
You know, whatever.
Yeah,
works.
I remember you saying you hauled your bed up from the street.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no! My bed I bought on the internet.
I was about to say that's pretty extreme.
But I bought my bed from a fully Japanese site. Like all of it was in Japanese. I had absolutely no idea that if I was actually getting that bed.
There's this thrift store like in Maebashi, which is like an hour and a half away from me. But like I've been getting some stuff to like furnish my apartment with from there. So I got a TV. Really.
Oh, there's one of those in the hallway right now.
Oh really?
You're gonna haul a TV in?
Get it before it's gone.
I know. I was like, do I need a
before it's
TV?
gone.
I've
Yes,
never
you
had a
do.
TV my whole life,
Yeah.
so no, I don't think I do.
Yeah. Well, I got one because I wanted to play the new Zelda on the TV.
See, I don't do that.
So
I don't think I need that TV.
I did inherit like this tiny TV from my predecessor. It's like this big. So I didn't want to use that. So and I got a table, I got a toaster oven from the store, but yeah.
I don't have a TV either, Elizabeth, so we're the same. I'm kind of jealous of you right now, Bryce. You went and got yourself a big TV. I kind of wish I had one.
It was really affordable.
There's
go.
pick up one. It's free outside.
Yeah,
Hey.
it was like $60.
If I didn't have to fly it back to Okinawa, if I could just put it on a train and it was cheaper than the price of the actual TV, I might be on the train right now.
TV is free. It's in the hallway with a sticker on it that says "No illegal dumping." So
I'm positive.
you're doing a public service.
Okay, well, since we all kind of talked about our apartment setups, it really is very individual. As you can see, all of us are pretty different. Mine's is owned by the prefecture. We had people taking it from the ALTs before. I also do know a couple ALTs who did have to find an apartment with their supervisor's help. And prices vary from mine. I actually have a 3-bedroom. My apartment's huge, and I think I have the cheapest one here. But it's old. And then, prices go from there. So it really will all depend on where you are. Oh, when you first got here, where did you, get used to, your shopping for, stores, the conveni situation? Because, for me, I have a car. So, because I'm in Okinawa, no trains. So I can just drive down to the grocery store. But, you guys have to deal with the train situation. for the most part.
Have you never lived in a city?
Actually, every city I've ever lived in, I've had a car.
See, I've never had a car my whole life, so
Wow. I have to have a car for my job for my job because I live up in the mountain. So I actually live pretty far away from the train. So I drive more than train.
Okay.
And there are a couple combinis near me, just a couple blocks away, so I can just zoom over there. But then there's also a couple supermarkets, kind of a short, like half-hour drive from me. But then also I go
half hour short.
Yeah, that's
What's that?
not what I call.
I'm telling you,
That's like
I'm up in the mountain. Like,
Oh my god, I'm like too lazy to walk 10 minutes to an actual grocery store. Instead, I go across the parking lot to the combini
Yeah.
and shop.
yeah,
you could just bike there, you know.
like
I don't have a bicycle.
I'm like the middle of my town is like actually getting into like the town part of my town is like a 20-minute drive for me.
Oh wow.
So, so yeah. So, I mean, like a half-hour drive to a supermarket is kind of short like that. But I also once a month I go down to my Bashi, which is like an hour and a half drive, and I go to Costco.
You have a
Costco.
Costco?
Yeah.
Man's
Oh my
he
god, I'm
lives near
coming to visit
Tokyo,
you.
so
Yeah.
Let's go to Costco.
you should have
They
a
have-
Costco nearby too,
they have-
Elizabeth.
They have peanut butter.
Wait, where do you have
Peanut butter.
Costco?
They
I'm
have
pretty sure there's a
big
Costco somewhere near
6-pound thick
Kyoto.
peanut butter.
They have
It's awesome.
Right, but I don't have a Costco membership. He does. Okay, take me. When's our Costco date?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
She's gonna travel halfway across Japan for a Costco date.
Just get
Oh my
a
god,
Costco
absolutely.
membership.
Oh.
I got that Costco card.
Welcome to 2023. You're not flexing citizenship,
Flexing
you're flexing a
Costco
Costco
card.
membership.
That's how you gotta do it. No, yeah, that is different. I guess. Yeah, I guess you guys are just training it for Ryan and Elizabeth. How did you get your
Well,
car,
actually, no.
Bryce?
My car?
Hmm?
Well, it was a bit of a process. So, I actually have two cars. I have a work car.
Oh, my bad.
Which,
Baldwin.
I have a work car which I can't leave the town with. But the Board of Education pays for the gas and everything. I don't have to worry about that. They do maintenance and everything.
Nice.
So that's really nice. But I have to have like a personal car because I can't take the work car to like the store, like or like to travel or anything. So
Really?
yeah, it's just my work car. So
Can't take it to Costco?
I can't take my work car to
Girl.
Costco. I don't know what the problem.
You can't work. You can't eat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But they did let me use the work car when I first got here for like personal stuff until I got my personal car.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of a wiggle room. But when I got here, I wanted to like actually buy a car because I had planned to be here for a long time. So I wanted to like outright buy a nice car that would last a long time. But it was I don't know. They make it very difficult for foreigners to buy cars. When you go to a car dealership, most of the time they'll offer you to like pay in increments, unless you don't have a permanent residence.
Which is an issue for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I ended up renting. So I pay about $200 a month, $200, with like 20,000. Yeah.
So I did actually bring this up in one of my previous videos about they tell you when you come to Japan. I don't know if you guys remembered, but when we were asking Jet, like, how much money do we need to bring? They were like, $3,000 is enough. And I'm like, you're a liar, especially if you have to buy a car. like I was lucky enough to get my car from my predecessor, and it's old and gonna die soon. So I only paid $1,500. But I know like another. You guys met her, I think, at the airport, and I know you know her, Ryan Jordan. Oh,
Oh yes.
yes, tall girl. She had to actually buy her car here, and I'm not sure if she was able to get the payment thing to work. I did hear about an ALT who was able to do it because his supervisor helped, which is very lucky and probably not something you should expect for them to like help you with a loan. Don't expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, normally you have to go in and buy it cash, and even used. Like you can get some used cars pretty cheap out here. Like they have them for $3,000. Like they're 4,000. They're pretty cheap, but that's a lot more money than what they tell you to bring if you are in a place or area where you need to buy a car.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually, I think when you need a car, usually the option is just to rent.
Yeah, renting.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So, just despite my hopes of owning a nice Subaru,
Oh, you have
yeah.
K cars? Because when I say buy, the K cars are the ones that are cheap.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah, those K cars are ridiculously cheap.
they are cheap. I'm renting a K car actually.
Oh, okay.
It's for K cars.
What's a K car?
It's like the cars that are about the size of a golf cart.
They're like super square.
Like a small car?
Yeah, they're
They are
small and
small.
they're like super square.
Yeah.
They
don't
have
have
like
any
small.
power at all.
Yeah, they have smaller engines. Which since I'm up in the mountains, I wanted something that would like have 4-wheel drive and stuff. But
Yeah, no, my K
It
car's
looks like
a
a car
three
that
cylinder,
you would
and to
see.
get up a hill with any speed, I have to turn off my air conditioner. So
yeah, if I have my AC on, like the console starts like whining, like
can't handle it. It's a little wild. Like, I know they're also. My supervisor said they're trying to get the K cars like be things overseas, but they have to like put turbos on them to try and like make them pass.
yeah. I don't see
I mean,
Americans wanting a K car anytime soon.
well, okay, no. So the K truck is popular in America, especially
Is it?
recently. There's like articles of people importing K trucks
Interesting.
to America,
Okay.
but I wouldn't want to take one on the. I don't know what these things are like. Like it's not like I've ever driven one, but I would not want to take one onto 101 or I-5.
I will say they get incredible gas mileage. Really good gas mileage.
That's why I
Yeah,
think
I'm
if
sure they
you
have great
put a turbo
MPG.
on it, the gas mileage isn't hurt. It can get up to a better speed. Right now, my issue is like on the fastest like highway here in Okinawa, the speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour, which I think is only like 50 miles per hour or something, maybe 60. It's like around there. I can barely get up to like 85 kilometers per hour. Which in America, I'm gonna get ran over in the slow lane. Like it's not a good look. So I don't
Yeah.
feel good transfer.
Another thing with the cars is I have to take a driver's test, like to get a new license.
Oh yeah.
And that is pain in the butt.
Have you finished yours yet?
No, I'll be taking my third time
There we go.
in June.
I was wondering, I was like,
It-
how many times have you failed?
It's the thing with the driver's test is like, so you can come to Japan with an international driver's permit, which is super easy to get. You just get it from AAA, like $20. They just take out this paper leaflet, write your name in it, and you're good to go. You can drive in Japan. But after your first year, you have to have a driver's license to like be able to drive.
Yeah.
So this driver's test it's kind of like a scam to get you to like just pay them a bunch of money, because like it is incredibly difficult to pass, and you can go through driver's ed, and that makes it easier to pass. But driver's ed is like $3,000 to go through.
Yeah.
So like, last time I was there were people who were on like their 11th time in the test.
11 times?
Yeah, like they make it incredibly difficult to pass the test because it's not about how well you drive. It's about how well you can do everything that they require for the test. Like,
Which is
when you are making a left turn, you have to check the rearview mirror, turn signal, check your right mirror, check your left mirror, check over your shoulder, check both ways, and then do an extra check on your left mirror. They call it a bicycle check. And you have to do all of those, and you have to do them for the right amount of time too. So, my last test, I was doing all these checks, and I was like going through this green light. But while I was doing the checks, the light turned red, and so the instructor had to like hit his brake, his emergency brake, and stop the car. And I failed because the light turned red while I was doing these mandatory checks. It was, yeah.
That's so. That is
Like,
infuriating.
Yeah, it is very frustrating trying to pass this test.
I'm gonna go take it next week, I think, and I'm also slightly worried about it.
Is it attempt 1 for you?
Yeah.
I had this document that has like a list of like all of the special rules they have, and you should like try to like, practice doing those because, yeah, it takes a lot of work to like. It's like you have to memorize the course too, like you have to memorize which path you'll take through the course. The whole thing. It's a whole thing. But.
Every one of my friends who's passed it says it's taken him at least 5 times. Like minimum.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah. But if you are from a country that drives on the wrong side of the road, as I like to call it. Yeah.
You can actually be from certain states too. Like Hawaii is one of them.
Yeah.
Hawaii is one of them, and I heard this from a jet when we were in Tokyo, but I think Ohio for some reason. Ohio gets special privileges with the Japanese DMV, basically.
Yeah, so everyone doesn't have
for a driving test.
But us Californians have to.
If you're from New Zealand, you don't have to test.
Oh, see? Lucky.
If you're from Malta, you don't have to do it.
If we were just from New Zealand.
That's the girl who doesn't drive.
I know, I don't even have a license.
Dude, what use is it? What use is your location where you're from?
Well, I have trains here because I live in a city.
You complain about those trains too. You don't know
no,
what
I don't.
You have. Yes, you do.
I ever complain about a train? I love a train.
The last time we met, you were like, "Oh, the metros in Kyoto suck."
Okay, the metros in Kyoto do suck. It's a bus city.
That's true.
At least
she's
have
right about the
metro.
In Kyoto. They do suck.
At
it's
least
a bus city.
You have a metro.
That's true. At least you have a metro.
It may only go 2 ways, but you have a metro.
That's true. That's true, Elizabeth. You have a metro.
I have nothing. I have buses, but they're also like,
I've heard nothing but bad things about your buses.
I have a train that's 20 minutes away, and that comes once an hour.
Oh, wow.
Okay, wait. I have a bus that gets me to work that comes once an hour.
Okay. Yes, we're now just comparing how difficult all of our transportation is.
That would be really sketchy for me. I do not like relying on the bus to get to work because the bus is always late.
Yeah.
Wait until it actually comes before it's scheduled to come and doesn't wait for you.
Oh, I've never had that happen. The bus is always like...
Oh my god, that happens to me. The bus picks up outside my building. I have been walking out. It's supposed to be there at 7:40. It's been 7:38. And I see it past the light, and I'm like, great. Now I'm walking to work.
Hey, no, how do you know that he was early? What if that bus is just the previous bus and he's running like...
Because it runs
over an hour late. He's
like
5 minutes late.
Hour.
I'm only like 2 stops from the end of the line.
Because I've had that happen too with the trains every now and then. Like the trains do not run punctually outside of the huge cities like Tokyo and Kyoto and Osaka. Like I'm like, and I know when the train is supposed to get there because when I walk to my station, there's like this overhead like viaduct or like elevated track section that it's running through because we're in the city now. So I'll just be running to the train station. I'm like looking at my watch. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta make this train. And I look overhead and I'm like, man, that train should have been here like 10 minutes ago.
It's so weird. My trains come on time.
Because you live in a big city.
Yeah.
Must be
Kyoto's
nice.
actually pretty small.
I mean,
Kyoto
Japan's
is
also a big
amazing
city,
in
but
what
you
it
live
is.
in a massive city.
All right, stop fawning over Kyoto. She's not that great.
Yo,
Yes,
chill
she
out
is.
with your
Yo,
disgusting words of negativity.
disgusting. That's blasphemy. Greatest city in the world,
I
right
agree. I have been
What
to
city in the
10
world? You guys
countries,
are obsessed.
and Kyoto
there. Greatest
is
city in the world,
number
right there.
one on my list for cities. Number one.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You just don't
Tokyo can go kick rocks.
appreciate where you live.
Okay, because I arrived when it was disgusting here.
Yeah, okay, that is true. If you are a jet
And I
during
had to
Kyoto,
sleep on the floor.
the summer is gonna suck.
And I didn't have a phone.
So these all sound
Whose
like
fault is
personal
that?
issues you're blaming us.
You sound like you
Yeah,
problems.
these sound like you problems.
That is why my perception of Kyoto is not equal to yours. You came here on vacation.
I would, yeah.
Aw.
Kyoto just seems amazing.
Greatest city in the world, right there.
Yes. Good food,
That's
beautiful temples.
I will say I personally prefer Tokyo to Kyoto, but I know I am in the minority. I am in the minority.
Tokyo is cool. Like I'm not like
These guys are just obsessed
like
with Kyoto.
Tokyo can go kick rocks doesn't mean Tokyo's not cool. Like Tokyo's freaking cool. It definitely has probably the most like the greatest concentration of things to see and things to do in one gigantic spot that would swallow the entirety of New York.
Yeah.
That's fair. It does have a lot of variety of things in Tokyo.
I do like visiting
Kyoto's
Tokyo.
all the same. It's just temples and shrines.
Kyoto's a vibe.
I've always agreed with Elizabeth that visiting Kyoto would be better than living there. I think.
Nah, 10 out of 10. Would live in Kyoto.
I would live in Kyoto. But I would also
I would live
live
in Kyoto.
in Tokyo. I mean, the big city vibe, I like the laid back version of where I live. But if I was looking for a big city vibe, I would live in Tokyo. But I would also live in Kyoto, and I love temples and don't think I could ever get sick of them. At least I could live there for a few years, for sure.
You do when they're obscenely crowded now. Like, you visited when the border was closed and it was kind of
there during
I lived
Golden
there
Week.
when it was before the pandemic and it was
I
crowded.
live here.
Well, I'm just saying, I've been there with the crowded.
I experienced a month of living in Kyoto before the pandemic. Yeah, it's crowded, but oh well.
Yeah. It's a wonderful, beautiful place. Anyways. Alright, now that we've...
And you're keeping me from enjoying it right now.
First off, you live there. Don't even.
I know, you live there. You
First
got
of
the
all,
rest of the day.
What?
You got the rest of the day, too.
Yeah.
It's only
It's
12:30.
only 12:30. I have other stuff I'm doing today, too.
Yeah,
You got
I'm
buses
playing
Metro.
the new,
You got Metros.
playing the new Zelda.
Yeah, he's playing... I have judo at 5, but I have to drive an hour to get there. Hour and a half.
I'm going to Osaka.
You're going to Osaka.
Oh, and you can get there
On a what?
Literally one of 3
On a
different
train.
Yeah.
One of 3 too. There's like 3 different trains that'll take you to Osaka. They're all freaking great,
If I wanted to,
and they all
go to
take
Osaka,
about an hour or less.
If I wanted to go,
Wait, I want to take the one with the Zen garden on it. I think I actually might make the effort to take that one today.
The Hankyu line.
The
I feel like
Hankyu
it
line,
does
yeah.
take a little longer than Keihon though.
Right, but
I rode that last time.
I'm not in a time crunch. I'm not racing there. So.
Okay,
because
well,
you live in Kyoto.
What?
Because you live in Kyoto.
Yep.
Exactly.
Boom.
all right. So let me hit one more because there's 2 other ones. You guys can pick which one if you want to go over that. I think would be interesting. One is pretty much this sums up like 3 or 4 of the questions, but like how easy is it to do things without Google Translate? And the other one would be finding activities and clubs and things to meet people outside of work.
Oh, I'm very bad at that.
The first, question is kind of easy to answer because it depends.
It's relatively easy for me generally to do that.
It depends on
I'm sure it'll be different.
how much you know Japanese, how
Yeah.
much what you're doing. Like if you're at the conveni, it's super easy to get through without
any Japanese.
But
yes,
yeah.
no, yes.
But if you're getting set up at the bank, it's nearly impossible unless you have someone there helping you.
Yeah.
So it just depends. The second question, what was the second question?
Activities,
Meeting people,
clubs,
meeting
sports.
That depends too. That depends where you are.
Yeah.
And
yeah, for example, I'm sure Elizabeth has a massive advantage for that.
Yeah.
Wait, why?
Living in Kyoto, full of not only tourists but also foreigners in general.
Yeah.
Before you say you
So, like,
experience how easy it is, I'm gonna call it a personal problem. I'm just letting you know right now.
Yeah. So like if you live in the city, you're gonna have a much easier time doing that than if you live in the countryside, like where I live. If I want to do something in Tokyo, like I have to wait until at least I have at least 2 days. Then I have to travel to Tokyo, and then I have to like research where to find things. Whereas if you lived in Tokyo, for example, you might hear by word of mouth, or like you might just kind of know from being around the city what those kinds of things would be. So I think that it depends.
I think
And yeah,
similar situation.
it really depends on.
Oh wait, you go, Ryan.
Yeah, my bad. It really depends on the city. Like, I mean, Okayama is a major city. It's on the line, but compared to like those huge cities, yeah, it's basically San Jose. Like you can use apps like Meetup and stuff like that for finding hobby groups and stuff like that. Like for example, I like to practice photography, and all of the meetups for that are in like Osaka or Kyoto. They're not here, even though I live in a city.
Okay.
So that's an advantage if you live in those gigantic cities like Kyoto.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you waiting for? Come over.
I would so visit consistently if I didn't have to take a freaking airplane every time. It's the one problem about where I
I
live.
mean, you could swim.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
I say that to my
Not
students
a
too
marine.
sometimes.
They're crazy swimming. Yeah, I get a similar thing. I mean, where I live, like I live in a rural area of Motobu, but like there is a city not too far, and I was in a really lucky situation that a lot of the ALTs in my area are, from what I've understood from talking to other ALTs, are ridiculously friendly in like the amount of community hangouts they orchestrated, especially in the very beginning when we first got here. We went to the beach or to some like cool spot in the city twice a week for the first like month and a half. So it created a really strong group. And then you find out who has hobbies that are somewhat similar, and you can make your friend groups out of that. And even now, I'm a heavy martial artist. For those who don't know who are watching, so like I found what martial arts schools were in my area that I wanted to train at before I even got here. And so I was able to find a gym and a dojo, and I have friends from there. Actually, my closest non ALT friends are from my martial arts, and I hang out with them outside all the time. And then when I want to just go out, I'll hit up ALT. We'll go to one of the bars in Nago, which is actually a really crappy party town. Like the bars are not crowded or anything. Like when I first went, I was like, this is kind of lame. And then we'd be sitting there, and I'm like, there's like our group of ALTs, and there's like 8 or 10, maybe 12, whatever, and then like 5 other people that aren't us. I'm like, this is lame, but we're all friendly, and I ended up meeting, like actually talking to these people, and now I see them around town, and I'm like, yo, what's up? Yo, how are you? And now I have
Whoa.
random
So
friends
small.
because of how like
Small town vibes.
uncrowded the bars are. And it's
Mm.
gotten actually a bit better now. There's the bars are a bit more crowded and people are coming out. But I've actually met and like have a decent amount of Japanese friends from that. And then if I want to go an hour and a half, 2 hours south to Naha, the main city, there's more ALTs down there. I don't hang out with them as much, but I have some friends I met out there from salsa dancing. So one of the ALTs was a salsa dancer. We went to some of her salsa dancing events, met a bunch of people. Salsa dancing has the highest concentration of English speakers, probably, just like the culture of that. And they half of them speak Spanish, which like is just not what you'd expect. Um, so going out to salsa clubs and meeting people, easy way to talk to people. Um, so yeah, I like going out and dancing. I like the martial arts, made friends from there. And then I know, like, yesterday, I went to this community center called Coconova. It has a very San Francisco like vibe. A lot of people speak English. Walked in. There's a lady that I had met one other time through an ALT. And I was like, I think we've met before. She's like, yeah, she's in college practicing English. And we sat there and talked for like 2 hours. And just got to get out there again, being overly extroverted helps. Um, but I would say starting off, if you can make some friends who are ALTs, which is a lot easier. I met 2/3 of the other people on here during orientation, just wanting to
Oh,
explore Tokyo and exploring with them. And every time I try to go to mainland, these are the people I'm trying to meet up with. It gave a really easy way for us to connect. And then I end up meeting Elizabeth, who I secretly like a lot, but just don't tell her that. And,
secretly like the most.
and so
The most.
you end up making friends.
It's okay.
It's
It's
no,
obvious. You love
I do.
Kyoto.
Um, and so just you create that friendship from going through common things. So ALTs are a really easy way, and then from there branch out. And again, I'm in a much more populated area than like say where Bryce is at. So I do have a grocery store about 10 minutes from me, you know. So it will also very much depend on where you are.
I would say that if you're going to like a rural area, that you really need to be proactive about finding people and kind of making arrangements. Uh, I was able to meet some other ALTs from another town in my prefecture, which is like an hour and a half away. And we're trying to plan like meeting up at this brewery in their town. But it takes some work because you have to like I have to like schedule like a hotel there. They have to be free that time. So some coordination and being proactive. If you don't want to like just be a hermit in the woods,
Yeah,
which
can definitely happen. I know.
yeah,
Ooh,
that has its advantages, but I think most people don't want to do that.
I met an ALT who was at one of the outer islands out here in Okinawa. I swear, when I found out about the Okinawan outer islands, I was like not gonna come if I got one. There are
Yeah,
some islands with like 400 people, and the ALT. I'm like, ah, oh, nah, y'all got me messed up. That's not for
yeah.
me. So yeah, that kind of
Oh my god, I
situation, I
can
don't even know.
Have you heard of Lunana?
No.
It's not in Japan. It's like this little town in Bhutan in the Himalayas, and it's the most remote village in the world. But there's like one they, every year, like they always have to like hire a teacher to like go up into this remote
Town
area to
teach.
teach, and so like they're just living in this super remote town in the Himalayas where like it takes days to like trek in.
That sounds actually awful.
I would not do that.
Yeah.
Would not do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they wish they had a metro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's really difficult to find like a club there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Talking about like finding clubs, and you're talking about going and getting a hotel. I will tell you right now, I am not ashamed. I don't drink, so I'm often DD, and so I was DDing and took a bunch of the ALTs down south, like 2 hours to go to a club, and we left the club at like 4 in the morning, and I started falling asleep at the wheel. And luckily, another ALT is like, "I'm good, I'm driving," and like, I'll drive the rest of the way. But I am not ashamed to pull over in a Lawson and sleep in the parking lot. I will sleep in a convenient parking lot until the next morning and then go home. I do not.
Leo, you're kind of a sleepy boy. I remember when we were like doing karaoke that one night. You were just like zonking out.
Yeah.
Like you fell asleep hard.
Yeah. First off, we were doing karaoke that night till like 4 in the morning. I couldn't handle it.
Hey, but he was a trooper though, because like we were freaking exhausted, and we were gonna walk back to the hostel because the train stopped running, and on top of the karaoke payment machine just not feeling it that night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to go to sleep. We're gonna go to Nara tomorrow. I want to go to sleep.
That was pretty crazy.
What was it? Oh, the manga cafes are also helpful if you need a rest. So they have like these manga cafes that you go and you can spend the whole night there for like 2,500 yen. They have a shower, and it's not like you don't get a bed, but they have cubbies that are designed for you to like watch animes or read manga books in. So some are just like relaxing chairs, but others are like enough space where you can like lay down and curl up in a ball and go to sleep. And people use it for that. And like you pay your $20 and you can sleep on this little cushioned floor and pass out. And so I use it in situations where like I'm partying somewhere. Like I went down, I partied, and I couldn't stay at my friend's house like I had planned. So I stayed at the manga hotel. And like it's also great for a quick shower. You pay $4 or 400 yen. Quick shower if you're not by the house. Really easy. You have them in Kyoto.
I will just walk home.
Well, you also live in Kyoto, okay? Everything's next to you.
Exactly. I will walk home to my free shower.
It's not like that
and my
for me.
It's nice.
I'm sorry. It sounds like a you problem.
Wow.
Wow.
It is nice being able to go to this like the cities and find like really cheap hostels. Like I think sometimes you can get like $10 for a night. So that's nice. But I mean, in the rural towns, you are paying a little bit more for that. So
That's interesting because like I would have assumed that the rural towns would be cheaper and like everything, but I guess I was wrong.
You have fewer tourists going through.
Yeah, they gotta make it count when the one guy comes in.
Yeah, they have more of like the traditional ryokans. Like they have like the onsens a lot of times, and it's. I mean, my town actually like there are a lot of hotels because I live next to Karuiza, which is a big resort town.
Oh.
Not big, but like moderately sized resort.
Oh yeah, I remember. I almost went there during Golden Week. Not Golden Week, but when my girlfriend was here. Yeah.
Karuiza was nice. It is very beautiful. I like going there on my days off.
All right. So this interview has now reached an hour and a half. We've been.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, what other questions you got? You got a gigantic page
There's a
of
whole
interesting questions.
list.
We can hit like another
All right,
one.
let's do it. Oh, well, we
I
kind of
mean, we can
already
even like
covered
you can.
this, but let's go back
It
to it a
is
little bit.
it is with like a really good one. It is with
I'm
like
sure you can just like rapid fire some of those. They look
oh
pretty
yeah, you can
simple.
do like
Some of them
rapid
look pretty
Rapid
simple.
fire? Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let me pull this over. We'll rapid fire this. Oh, okay. Let's do it.
I'm sure the questions are keep coming. So this 15 to 20 is gonna become like 40 if you do the part 2.
Yeah. All right. What is the biggest faux pas you've made in the staff room?
the staff room.
Can't say I've done any.
I don't think I have either. Oh no, I have.
Pretty much just forgetting to turn my volume down when I'm like on Instagram or on YouTube or something.
Oh, I always get like even from as a university student, I always got like sketchy about that. So I would like go to in that time I would get in class, sit down, and the first thing I do is turn my volume all the way down, just in case like I open my phone, it'll accidentally, or I'm scrolling Instagram and it'll hit a video or something.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything.
I
I mean, everything's embarrassing, but it's not a faux
Everything
pas.
is embarrassing. What do you mean everything is embarrassing? What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing in your job?
What are you doing in your
Jesus.
job? We're not even in the job. This is just the office.
No,
Yeah.
no, teachers room. I like. I think it's easy to just keep to yourself and not do very much. So
I mean, yeah, you do spend a decent amount of time just sitting there.
For me, the biggest one is I would go in and be like, Ohio, to like the Kyoto sensei or the vice principal, not understanding since he is my supervisor, Ohio is like not formal enough.
yeah.
And I didn't know that for quite a while. And then someone came up and was like, by the way, when you say good morning to him, you say Ohio gozaimasu. I was like, oh. And I would do that. Like I was saying a lot of informal things to people I should be very formal with and not knowing. So yeah, use the full version, guys, when talking to a possible superior. What was another one of these questions? Here's one. How difficult is it to find clothes that fit men and women with larger frames in big cities and outside of big cities, rural areas?
Shoes are the biggest problem.
Agreed.
It's
Mayo can relate.
next to impossible to find like good, decently sized shoes. I had to order my new shoes online. I had to like get them from Europe. But like clothes. I mean, when I go to H&M, no, Uniqlo. Sorry. When I go to Uniqlo,
Why are you going to H&M, man? We got Uniqlo.
Yeah, when I go to Uniqlo, I always have to like go bigger. I always have to like step it up. I always have to like go bigger than I normally would because it's
everything is like a size and a half smaller here, like a medium, large, or an extra large.
Mm-hmm. There are bigger framed. I mean, not many like overweight Japanese people, but there are like taller Japanese people, so it's possible to find bigger clothing. But I would say shoes are like one of the
harder ones.
Yeah.
Shoes are super difficult. I had that same issue. I had to. I couldn't find anything in Okinawa, and I ended up finding something in Osaka when I was with Ryan, actually. But when
no, that was Kyoto, dude.
Oh, that was in Kyoto.
That was Kyoto. I was there too. Well,
no, you were not. For that one, you were not.
Well, I saw the after.
Okay, it was in Kyoto. Yeah, but what I was told later, which is so smart, what I really should have done, is make a military friend who can get on base because they have the normal bigger sizes. Yeah. But otherwise, Uniqlo is better for like everything and the environment and clothes for the weather. It's great.
Yeah, it's always funny when I like go into like a building or a room that like, has slippers. You have to change into the slippers.
Yeah.
Like they only
Oh.
fit like halfway, halfway on my foot. So like, well, I always have my heel is always like hitting the ground when I'm like walking, and like little like dainty little thing hanging off my toe. Like
What size?
super bizarre, but like
I'm only a
What's
10
that?
and a half, and I'm one like literally they stop at like 9.5 and 10, so I just became too big. What size shoe are you?
Like 10 and a half, 11. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So it's same.
that sucks for us.
But I'm teaching in like I don't know if it makes a difference with the slippers, but I'm teaching in like elementary school as well. So
I have the same issue with the sandals, where my
Uh-huh.
heels just hit the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Elizabeth?
Yeah, you're gigantic.
Yeah. She has no problem.
Things are really short. Dress clothes are short. Like all of my dress shirts come to like above my wrist, which is annoying. But I've gotten used to it. I can see my watch perfectly now.
Positives.
And pants here are always going to be too short on me.
Pants?
So I actually had to go to Indonesia to buy my pants.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Buy some pants from a foreign country.
Shoes are bizarre. At least in women's, they're sized a lot of places small, medium, and large, extra large, which is just ridiculous that they have 4 sizes. They assume feet fit into 4 universal sizes for shoes.
You're not
And
buying
I'm
the
already
shoes at like
consistently
Uniqlo.
one of those sizes. Like I've been a medium before, I've been a large, I've been an extra large. Like, yeah,
Interesting.
It's bizarre, very bizarre. The shoes definitely are weird. Yeah, but cheap, very cheap.
Yeah. I will say in here it specifically says with larger frames. I hate to tell you, but even though I am gigantic, and so is everyone else on this call, we may not be the best ones to answer the larger frames question. But I will try and find someone to interview later who might be able to better touch on that. This is good. Are people friendly with and without you knowing Japanese?
Yes.
Same.
People are very friendly. There's the occasional like Oji-san who's just a little like sour-faced and doesn't really jive with the fact that you're in his country. So there's the occasional bit of that, but people are very friendly. People are very polite. People are very willing to. Well, they're not really willing to help a lot, but but they let you do your thing. They let you kind of like
They're kind. They're kind enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to fly under the radar, so to them, I'm just some ordinary Japanese dude living in Japan. So I don't get any of those like stories of, oh, here comes the person that has never seen a foreigner in their life and they want to suddenly practice their English.
I get that.
I've never had that. Never had that. You just squeeze on a train and you're just like everybody else. In my case, it's like, okay, cool. Well, this is what assimilation looks like.
Elizabeth, because I saw your face, I feel like you had a different answer.
Yeah, I don't feel the same, but
go ahead and share your that. I think it's good.
Okay.
It's different.
I just have bad news too. People are
You're
so
entitled to
rude.
your opinion.
I think it's good to have the opposite side.
Yeah, I just don't feel like people are generally friendly, or if they're friendly, it's fake friendly.
There is a bit of fake friendliness. Aren't you from France? Isn't that like
people I
King
work
of the
with?
Roots?
It's not a genuine friendly.
That
they generally want to get to know me, not want to know why I'm doing what I did, so they can passive aggressively tell me that was the wrong way to go about doing something.
Yeah, and that may be
like, oh, you're not from here. It's okay that you're wearing a blue suit when you're supposed to be wearing black. Oh, you're not from here.
Yeah, right.
So they're just passive aggressive with it.
But like, I'm asking you directly, is it okay that I wear this to my next school's ceremony? And they're like, well, it's okay. They don't expect anything. You're not from here.
Oh,
Just say yes or no.
I mean,
Mm.
That though is
Just
like
strange.
just a common thing is like people don't actually expect you to like know how Japanese things work a lot of times.
yeah.
It would be
Because
great, but the expectation is low.
my supervisor, who practically like he was very humorous, my old one, and he would say similar stuff, but always like if he was making fun of me, he made sure I knew he was trying to make fun of me because he thought it was hilarious. He'd be like, I mean, if you want to look like a crazy person, that's fine. You can wear it. That was him.
And to be fair, Elizabeth, maybe like a part of that experience is you interacting with a lot of like city people. And like I've
Yeah.
interacted with a lot of like rural people who, you know, they live in the countryside. They've got sunshine. Like they're not bumping into people on the subway day after day. They have a lot of freedom, to, like freedom of movement, freedom of like within their job, and um, so maybe there's a little bit of a difference there. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I will
Kyoto
say,
people
like,
are just not.
when it comes to communicating with your, your supervisors and your schools, it really depends on their ability to speak English too.
Mhm.
Because generally, like, all, now I speak Japanese, so I know what they actually want to say. But I will say that usually the English version, when they're talking to you in English, sounds a lot more blunt than if they were to say the same thing to you in Japanese. We were actually talking about this one time, a group of friends. I'm like, well, yeah, the English email sounds a lot more like blatant and very blunt, like a lot of hard, like, no, you can't do that, or why don't you try doing this instead?
Mhm.
But if you could, and it's the same for any language, like if you know like some Japanese and you hear the Japanese version, it's always a lot more
Yeah,
like polite and nicer, at least in my experience.
it's kind of like when you know at work everybody says "What's gonna some of this? What's gonna some of this? What's gonna some of this?" Like, which
Yes.
literally translates would be like, "Oh, you must be tired. You must be tired." Which like if
Oh,
you
you were such a hard
like
worker
Yeah.
today.
yeah, like sounds condescending almost like you must be really tired like but like in Japanese it's like oh thank you for your heart thank you for working hard thank you for doing your job like
Yeah.
Mm.
The
so
culture is a bit, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but the communication style sounds passive aggressive in English. Some of
mhm.
the wording. So just like be aware. Sometimes it may seem passive, but it's like not always meant to be that way.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's just normal.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially if they're making their effort to communicate to you in English, like this may not even be an English teacher,
Yeah.
just because of what they know as far as their vocabulary, it may just come off very blunt. Like there's 1,000 ways to tell someone no,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they're just gonna say no because that's what they know.
yeah. um and I think there's a tendency to like when you come to Japan to kind of see it broadly and you know because you have to speak it in terms of culture like Japanese culture is like this Japanese culture is like this American culture is like this um but then in reality you're always dealing with like individuals so there have been a lot of people that I've interacted with differently in Japan than other people um and so when people say like Japanese culture is like this that doesn't always like that doesn't always carry over to like your real experience so you'll to whoever's watching this you'll probably just have to
One.
take your own experience
Yeah.
yeah yeah
Okay, I have another question before because I think this recording, because I have the free version, will only last for another 20 minutes anyway.
Mhm.
Um, this is a good one. How safe is the countryside wildlife and petty crime in Japan.
That's for Bryce
Yeah.
and you.
Yeah.
Countryside, petty crime, nothing. Like
Same.
you really don't have to worry about getting like robbed in the countryside or anything, or even in like even in the cities. Like you
Even in
really don't.
cities, really.
This is like that's just kind of Japan. It does. I mean, it happens occasionally, I think, but it like Japan's one of the safest countries in terms of that. Wildlife, that is different.
Everything will kill
Like
you. That's how I
No,
feel in
it's not like we're not in Australia, man.
Okinawa feels
um,
like Australia.
yeah, like I've seen a lot of wildlife living in my town, and like I grew up in Montana, so I grew up around like deer and we'd see bears and moose and stuff like that occasionally, but like I've seen more wildlife living. There are wild boars.
Yes, the boars.
Yeah,
I have those too.
yeah. So we
We
all had
technically have those
where
too, but
we're going up this big shrine with like there were like sightings of a wild boar. We had to be careful at night. But one day I came home from work and there was just this wild boar right outside my apartment. So like I had to like
oh, he's
carefully walk to my like carefully
just
walk to
chilling
my
there.
car. Like um, he didn't bother me, but yeah. And then I mean, there's monkeys. I've seen monkeys on the side of the road a lot. I've seen a lot of foxes, but foxes are rather friendly actually. Um, um, so it's not super dangerous. I think there are bears, but
Do we have
I haven't
bears?
seen any. I mean, um, for me, I think if you leave wildlife alone, usually wildlife will leave you alone. Uh, just that's been my experience growing up in Montana. My experience living here in Japan.
That's solid. I also feel like you have a lot of the cool, big, like not actually cute, like no a wild bear boar. I mean,
There's no
it's
moose
frightening
here.
and like they can hurt you technically, but like cool wildlife. In
Yeah.
Okinawa, on the other hand, our wildlife likes to try to kill you, and so we have a snail that can kill you. If yeah, so there's a snail. I don't know if it's the actual name, but someone told me the name. They call it the cigarette snail. I just know it was actually at the aquarium they were talking about it. You pick it up, little thing comes out, it stings you. You're dead in about 5 minutes. It's a neurotoxin. Chances of you dying, I think, are like 70 something percent. Um, we have a bunch of poisonous snakes. Well, mostly that one really dangerous poisonous one that they use in the alcohol. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, we have a poisonous snake. We have the huge spiders, the jumping
Oh my god.
huntsman spiders that'll get as big as your hand and jump.
Jumping?
We also have little tiny jumping spiders. Those aren't so bad. I probably have like 10 of those in my
Those
house.
are
They're not that scary.
they're kind of adorable. Even I don't even like spiders, but they're kind of adorable.
No, we got like ones as big as my hand, like gigantic, huge ones. Actually, I found one that it killed a gecko, and I was mad because geckos like are not gross to me and will kill like cockroaches, which are also really popular because I live in a rainforest. And so when it killed the gecko, I was mad. So I killed the spider. So I was mad it killed the gecko. I will let the geckos in my house. I probably have 3 geckos living in my house because they will chase out the cockroaches. So I remember I moved some stuff and a gecko just ran out and behind my fridge. Was like, dude, it's fine. You can live here. And so yeah, there's a lot of dangerous bugs here. Just if you're coming to Okinawa, one of the things you will get on our like OkiJet page is a list of dangerous animals, or bugs mostly, that you need to be aware of.
Yeah.
The ocean, beautiful will absolutely kill you. So don't go by yourself. Be ready of the jellyfish. Try to only swim in places where locals are swimming because they usually know
Everybody else is
what
swimming.
areas are going to have the jellyfish at which season. And they'll wall off the area. There is a really popular beach that just got walled off to protect it from the jellyfish because they start swarming into that area. We have poisonous fish. I don't want to scare you because I love the beach and I go to the beach all the time. But also, you will die. So just be aware
It's
of
almost,
all
I
the
mean,
dangerous animals and try and always have a car.
don't go in the water, and if
Yeah.
you're in the forest, don't pick up any
Yeah,
rocks.
exactly. Or go with a friend. But there's nothing big. The biggest dangerous thing we have is a wild boar. But we don't have like bears or anything like, because at one point I heard some in the bushes and I freaked out and I Googled it and I was like, dude, we have like, I don't know, some kind of Asian tiger in Japan, which I didn't think was a thing. And obviously not. But yeah, we were good. So just mostly you want to be aware of the small things. And when it comes to safety, if I'm in Nago and there's no Americans at the bar, I will literally leave my satchel, which has my wallet in it, on a table to save my spot while I go play some game somewhere else. Like, it's super safe.
That's pretty common.
Yeah, the only time I was told to not do that because it became a habit, and I was at this place called Gate 2, which is predominantly like the military goes there. And my friend's like, hey, yo, get your satchel. This isn't Japan anymore. You're with the Americans. And so I like just, but if it's Japanese, like, I don't remember exactly what the stats were, but it's like if you lose your wallet, you're like 85 to 90% chance of getting it back, and same for your phone. Like,
Wait, I lost my wallet like my third day here, and I got it back. Nothing stolen.
and there you go.
And there it is.
Yeah, and yeah. So
Don't have.
There's also a good chance that if no one's giving it to you or it's not with the staff, there's also like if you go back immediately for it, even if it could be like an hour or two later, there's actually a good chance that it's still exactly where you left
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Or
And
go-
I
no, do send it into the police office.
There's that too.
Yeah.
and
So if you do go back hours later, it's not at the store. They have
It's
sent it
probably
to
with
some
the cops.
police box.
yeah, and just in terms of safety, like in Japan, you have to be aware of like certain natural disasters that can happen, like
Earthquakes.
Earthquakes are a big one. Happen all over the place. Tsunamis are big. There's a ton of them every year.
I think this is coming to me right now.
Really?
I think so. I'm gonna check.
I like in my area. I really don't have to worry about earthquakes or tsunamis very much.
Same.
But I live next to an active volcano, so there's that.
That's much scarier.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's ooh.
Yeah, it's erupted in the past, but it's been a long time since it's erupted. And every day it like sends up smoke, like you can see smoke from like coming out of the top of the mountain. And, yeah.
Yo, thank God. I'm actually mad at I'm not mad. So sorry, we were talking about this, and so I actually Googled the typhoon that's coming toward me. And last time there was almost a typhoon, my supervisor warned me to get ready. My supervisor didn't say anything, and it says Category 5 super cyclone. 175
Yeah, but
miles
that's
per
probably
hour
just
wind.
like a.
Maybe
For them, that's probably like a light breeze, man. They're like,
No.
a breeze.
Category 5 is bigger than what Okinawa is set up for. Like, it would actually...
Maybe he just expects you to like know about it now that you've been like in Japan for a while.
Maybe.
He's like, oh, he's got it.
I think it actually
went through a
curved. It might
typhoon
miss
before.
us. Maybe that's why. Now I'm looking at it because I'm scared. Oh,
Be careful.
Jesus. It hit Guam. All right.
Oh.
Next question. How much time do we have? We have 10 minutes, and I have 10% left on this phone.
We got like 8 minutes, I think. 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Rapid
fire
let's wrap it up. Okay. Do you want to get do you guys have anything specific you want to say, or should we just throw another question at it?
Send some questions.
All right. discrimination outside of the, because we already just went over the bank stuff. So any other kind of discrimination you guys have faced?
I fly in right under the radar,
Yeah.
so none that I can remember.
A bit, but it's just mostly stuff that's kind of built into the system, like them not wanting to like give out loans to foreigners, not accommodate foreigners in certain things. I personally haven't met anyone who's been super like no foreigners. That my personal experience, not very much, but yeah.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, I mean, just the phone plan.
Gotcha.
Um,
I've faced,
really.
I think, a little more, but I think it might be due to the fact that I live around so many military people, because I was told by the other ALTs that they thought I was military and that the discrimination was more military based. So when I have my hair cut, it is a military cut. That's what I've always had. It's just a fade, which is common in the military. And then in the beginning, where you had to wear the masks everywhere, you couldn't see my facial hair. So I had walked into 2 or 3 restaurants and been immediately kicked out. And I was like, what is happening? And I was like, is this because I'm American? Because I heard that can happen in some areas. They don't like foreigners in general. But then I talked to some other ALTs, and I found out there are areas that they had been to. And I was like, oh, this must just be me. And I was like, is it because I'm black? And then I asked the black ALT, and she's like, nah, I've been there too. And I'm like, okay, it's not that. And then after meeting some military friends, I found out sometimes they have a bit of trouble getting served because people expect them to be rowdy and rude. And then also, there's just that general, well, you're going to have to deal with a big communication barrier, which some people just don't like dealing with. So I think it was more along the fact that I walked in by myself. They thought I was military. So I've been kicked out of about 3 restaurants, and then obviously had trouble getting my car insurance and my banking stuff and that kind of stuff done. But it hasn't been too crazy.
How about when you visit the mainland? Do you notice anything?
Not really. Most of the time when I visited mainland, again, most of the mainland times recently, I've either been with my girlfriend or I didn't have to wear my mask, so you could tell I wasn't military. Also, I've been getting a lot of, oh my god, foreigner! Let's hang out!
Yes.
So, like the last time I went out with Ryan, the day before I saw Ryan, I met another ALT, but not with Jet, in the hostel. And we walked out, and we're just walking, and these 2 girls start walking next to us, and I'm like, they're really close. This is interesting. And I look, and we keep walking, and I look, and we keep walking, and I'm like, hello? And it turns out they were trying to talk to foreigners. So, like, that's my normal experience. It's usually pretty positive. Any kind of, it's not like people will treat you different, but like honestly more in a good way. Yeah. So I haven't had too many issues minus those 3 particular things. Hold on, I'm trying to fix this. All right, let's see. What else do we have here?
Oh yeah, we got 3 minutes.
Okay. Ordering items through the convenience store, like in Amazon. I do that all the time.
Ordering? Oh, you mean like have it delivered to the
I
convenience
think
store?
that's what it means. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times.
I've never
It's pretty cool.
delivered to the convenience store, but I have paid for Amazon stuff at the convenience store.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you can also do that too. That's pretty.
I
cool.
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
I don't think it works for every item, but there is like an option that says you can go have them pay at the convenience store, just like your bills and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
So-
can pay your bills. I do bills there.
Yeah.
So for Amazon, I usually either use PayPay to pay for it, or I'll pay at the convenience store. But I've always had it delivered to my apartment. You know.
I always have my stuff delivered there if it's of a size that's allowed, and they send you an email, they scan it, they give it to you. You can do it without even speaking English. You can just point at the email, so it's like really easy.
Yeah.
I do that because like whenever the mail likes to come by, it likes to come by while I'm at
Yep.
school or something.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, now I gotta wait for them to come back, or I gotta put it on the weekend when I want my thing now.
Oh yeah, they won't
That's a good
just
point.
leave it at your door. That's not a thing here.
No,
Yeah.
Wait, no, mine leave it at my
What?
door.
Really?
In a big
they don't do it
Yeah.
for me.
No.
Yeah,
I
I have to, in my preferences, I check if I'm not here, leave at door. But I've also been here and no one has ever knocked and they've just left it outside the door.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I always
I've only
And
had
I have no
this thing left at my
command,
door
so anyone
once.
could walk in.
I
Yeah.
stay here, or else they leave a slip.
Same.
They're like,
Yeah.
I've had that for like important mail, but Amazon, they just leave it in
I
the
thought
hall.
it was a security thing because of we're gonna hit a whole thing, but Japan had some bomb threats, and I thought I made a total assumption. I didn't Google this. I didn't look. I'm just like, why would they not just leave it? Because in my head, there's like no crime. Why not just leave it at the door? And I was assuming because like they don't have trash cans, they don't let you leave stuff places.
30 seconds.
I will say, Amazon, they will. Now, I've only ordered things on Amazon like a couple of times, and only a couple of times have I had them delivered to my house. One time, it went to the lady next door, and I was like, "Where's my package? It says it got delivered." Is the one time that I got porch pirated ever is gonna be in Japan? And it turns out the lady next door had it. She just gave it to me. They dropped it off at her address by mistake.
Okay, we are pretty much done. Anyone want to say bye? Because the recording is gonna stop in a sec.
Bye.
Bye.
Join us next
Yeah,
time.
we might do this another time. Oh, wait, it just crossed over. It's still going. I don't think I'm supposed to have this much free. All right, I guess we were rushing for no reason. I do have a feeling though that when I save this, I may have to pay for something or something to keep this going. So maybe we should end it.
I'm getting hungry for lunch, so
I'm also starving. All right, thank you guys for doing this first interview.
this was fun.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is everything. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. We'll evolve. Like, the next time you come to mainland, let's do a podcast or something.
Absolutely, that'd be fun. Okay. See you guys.
All right.
All right, see
Yeah.
ya.
Peace.
Enjoy.